All right, well, we got half of the laundry room and bathroom done. Kind of the bathroom part's over here. So we're going to be prepping this later today, if not early tomorrow, and we're letting this cure. So there's the concrete underneath. We keep it under the plastic and wet so that it, because it's hot, you want to be moist for, God, a week, you know, to get it to harden and cure well. And then we'll go ahead and we have the expansion foam there at the end, so that's the seam that'll go over here. You can go ahead and put it down, baby. The what we're going to be doing today is we have to take in Donna's enclave, you know, which is, you know, over there. You know, engine light went on. So what we're going to do is go into town. We have to return some boards. You know, I wasn't clear on, you know, what 2x10, 2x12 meant. So she got them 12 feet long, but the dimensions were the width. So we're going to take some boards back and exchange them for what we need. And we're going to take the truck in with the enclave and leave it to be worked on. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the, we need to get more cement and more stuff. We make a use of the trip. But what we're going to go ahead and do is put you on the ride, and I'll just show you the road, the traveling we have to do every time we go to town. So you can see the who built the roads. Well, it was me. So we'll get to go over it. It needs a, next time it rains, we'll go over it with the back blade on the tractor again and smooth it out. It's starting to get a little bit rougher. I got to do maintenance on it every now and then. But, you know, this is the dome that's going to go on the pony wall, and then we'll, you know, cover it. But we just put these shade cloths on there, and they work really well. Now, a friend of mine, Bob, that has one of these domes, you know, the a 30-foot like we have on the workshop, and he found these triangle shade things that you can just buy for like $50, and they seem pretty heavy duty, and you just orient them however you want. And so we ordered one of those that we're going to put over the pool, and I have some aluminum 2x2 tubing that we'll put up and kind of get a shade for it, because it's only going to get hotter, and we really like having the pool to cool down. But when you're out in the blazing sun, oh my God. So that's what we're going to do today. We'll go ahead and take you on the trip so you can see the roads that we have to do. Now, I have 2 other Monteros like that. We got the first one, and that thing just kicks butt. We've had for, God, 20 years. So I have another one that has a bad fuel pump that will get it going when I got time, and we'll be using that. So we have, you know, the Jeep that's over there. The engine's going on that one, and we want to you know, fix that. We have our 2500 Ram that we got to work on. We gotta. So kind of accumulating some vehicles, but they all have a purpose. But the Enclave is, you know, Donna's nice car. So we got to go get that taken care of. And you're along for the ride to see the road. Okay, we're on our way into town. Now we're about 70 miles west of Phoenix. See if I can clean this windshield a little bit. Make that better. And there's Donna. You got the runway that goes down that way, but we're going on the border road that's on the east side of the property. Now this is one that we built. It's pretty good shape. Every time it rains, we take and get the box blade out, get the tilt of the road just right so the drainage does right, find out where the check dams go and all that. But in the last, God, it's been like 14 months, 15 months, we've only had one decent rain that it actually flowed on the washes. And this was just a big giant gully here. This is just, you know, a rut. So we fixed this road and so on. You'll see that the road's in pretty good shape. And but when we get to what's called Pipeline Road, they have 5 high pressure natural gas lines that are only 5 to 10 feet underground. So they don't want you, you know, fixing the road. Now, the controversy is that the way the safety Pipeline Commission of Arizona, whatever, their definition is that if you're scraping it at all, even with the back blade, what you're doing is you're excavating, not allowed. Can't take even a fraction of an inch. But if you're dumping material onto the road, then that's road maintenance. So that's kind of the battle. I'm going, all right, I'll road maintenance all day long. I'll bring my little green dump trailer and put some stuff on and level it out, and we're all good. But the piping company, is it Kemper Morgan, I think it is, they got 80,000 miles of road all over the country, and they're like, nah, we don't want to have to unless we have to, and you're not allowed. So it's kind of a negotiation. We have two ways to get in. When we get down to the T here, you'll see they call it cow tree. I don't know why, because cows sleep under it or something. But you go left, which is north, towards I-10, the highway there, or you go right south. Now, we don't go north, even though the road is fine, we got it all fixed, but the cowboys are down there and they're doing their roundup. They just assume not have people going through there, even though we have access, but just to be a good neighbor, we'll go this way to the right, and they make them happy. So when we have to, we'll be going the other way if they make it to where this road gets bad enough and they're not going to fix it. Now, this is just our road that we're maintaining. It goes about a few miles, and then you hit the pipeline road that runs diagonally in front of these mountains here. Now, it goes for miles and miles and miles and miles. Now, it comes from, I think, Texas, and that is the fuel that powers the peaker plants that are around Palo Verde nuclear power plant. Now, as we're driving, so I'll put it on hyperlapse, and you'll get to see some of the solar panels and the big giant solar farms, and they're just more and more and more just keep popping up out here. And they use the natural gas to power these natural gas turbine, make it go where we get super energy right away. You don't have to heat it up. It's, push a button and boom, you got power. They're called peaker plants for when everybody turns on their air conditioning or something. So the baseline power is from the nuclear power plant. The nuclear power plant provides electricity really for Arizona, and they sell it all over the place. There's like a co-op group of somebody owns the power. Now, this is where I get a lot of our material. Now, there's different areas on this drive to where it has different grades of gravel that have naturally kind of been separated out with the flow of the washes and so on. So you'll see a lot of, as we drive, there's piles that I put up on the side of the road because there was so much sand and gravel, I had to remove a bunch of it just to even get to where you could make a nice road. But those piles are also what we use for various things on the land. So I'll come out here and get several trailer loads and go back and dump it. And this is where I had to get, it had to be at least 150 trailer loads, dump trailer loads to just put over the roads on the land. Because once you break through the surface here, it turns into moon dust and it'll go right up to the axle and you get stuck. So, we have one neighbor that shares this road. Well, two counting the cowboys, but we're just trying to make sure his front wheel, two-wheel drive Kia Soul that his wife drives is able to make it. So that's what we're doing. Now I'll go ahead and kind of stop you kind of get it. This is how the road is across the desert. And then we'll do a hyperlapse going into town. Now once we get to where you start seeing farmland, then that's where the county actually maintains the roads. And we're probably 6 miles from where they maintain the roads. And, now I got to do it. So you kind of get an idea. Okay, Donna's coming up behind me. I don't want to take the camera down, reset everything, but if you go left, I-10 is up there, about, 4 miles or less. And if we go this way, on the other side of Saddle Mountain there, that's where our friend Bob is, right on the other side there. Now, our mesh network, that's the communication that we needed to bounce off another mountain that's over to the left up here to get around that mountain so he could hear and get the data. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go down what's called Courthouse Road here, and then it'll hit Salome Highway. But this is pavement. You'll start to see all these different farms, and a lot of this is alfalfa. And they just, every 5-6 weeks, they harvest it, make big bales, and ship it off to Saudi Arabia or whatever they do with it. Now, there's a lot of farms, but these are being turned into solar farms. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on regular video here so you can see just, and there's a bunch of these, and they go way far back all over the place. But you'll see it was, God, 9 months ago that they started construction on this, and then all of a sudden, boom, you got a solar farm, and there's a bunch of them. And I'm not sure how they go into the grid, but Arizona's got plenty of sun. So a lot of places solar may not work, you know, and I'm not a big fan of wind. You got this big giant thing that after 10 years it doesn't work, and it's an eyesore, and decommissioning's a pain in the butt. But in Arizona, solar will be working just fine. So you'll get to see how they put in all of these transmission lines and power substations and all that stuff. Now off to the left up here, I don't know if you'll see it in this frame, they have a natural gas peaker plant. On the other side of Saddle Mountain, over there on the right, about 10 miles is where Palo Verde nuclear plant is, and they have a lot of natural gas plants all around it too, and solar. So Arizona is producing a crap ton of power. How they're going to do that in with AI, or if they're just powering everybody's increasing population's air conditioner, but that's what's going on there. So I'll just go ahead. We're coming up on the solar plant here, and you kind of get an idea of that. Maybe I'll swing the camera over a little bit. Okay, over there, let's see the stacks for the natural gas. It'll be coming up here directly. And maybe not, because we got this berm here in the way. Yeah, there you start to see the stacks here, exhaust stacks. So that's the natural gas peaker plant, and you'll go ahead and see it as we clear these trees here. And there. So that's natural gas runs to that. And then the solar plant. All this was put up in months. It was amazing. And they, did a lot of work on that. And then they just keep adding them. Now, west of where our land is, all the way back where we were, a few miles west of that is another solar field that they're doing. So these solar fields that you see here are just spotting all over the desert. I was kind of surprised it took as long as they did to finally do it, but I guess solar panels are so cheap that they can start they pay themselves off within a few years. Now, in the news, what are they finding out? Oh, this little Chinese chip in might turn it off, kind of, make the panels go bad or something thing. I mean, nothing surprises me anymore. But that's what's going on. I'll put it back on hyper, and we'll get where you're going to see the first stop we're going to make is before we even leave the desert is a post office box where we have things delivered. Now, you don't always deliver to the post office box. We either have a friend out here, a friend, or to my daughter in West Phoenix in the Surprise area. Name of the town Surprise is where we drop off, have delivered a lot of our orders and so on because they don't like P.O. boxes. But we're going to stop by a P.O. box. I think they got some goodies for us. Well, this is the post office where we get a lot of our post. Now, the palm trees that you see over there, it's hard for me to see this in the light. The palm trees over there, that's a spring. It's a hot springs. It's a natural hot springs, been there for freaking ever. And it's really nice. And you may have seen videos of Donna and I going over there before. Now, if you saw the white buildings, they're over behind the trees. Yeah, you can see them over there. They're eggs. Hickman Eggs has big, giant hen houses out there. And when they first put it in, probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, they had, and sometimes in the summer when they opened it, it smells. And it's just damn. So there was a big controversy between this RV park that's over here that fills up. I mean, it fills up, especially when they have the outage out the nuclear power plant, which is on the other side of it over there. And they're making oodles and gobs of money, and then they had to put up with, smelled like death. I mean, it's just really a bad smell. You know, it's not all the time, just every now and then you get a big whiff, especially when they open the doors or clean it out or whatever. And so for years, this was vacant. And they, you know, did a lawsuit back and forth, and ouch, quit it, and finally they got some kind of compensation. They opened it back up. Now, on the other side of these RV, there's a little auto repair tire kind of thing here by, here's the intersection for the highway, I-10. That pilot there is where a bunch of trucks come in here to fuel up and everything. And that's where you got kind of a little general store and Subway and that kind of stuff. So you got semi-civilization, but you have some food trucks that are down here. But this off-ramp has been here for, God, decades, but it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it starts filling up. Now, over on the other side of this foliage here, you probably didn't see it coming in, is a mature, big, giant cornfield. And the corn grows tall. And then back this way, back there, there's some more fields that are cornfields. So I didn't know there was as much corn here. And I guess it works, you know, they got a bunch of corn. So we're going to be getting on to the freeway here, and I'll do a little bit of hyperlapse, just kind of show you how we're coming into town from out here. Yeah, but this is how we get to town, you know, it's a thing. Now there's another entrance when I said before you go north from when we hit the asphalt, that you go north to the highway up there. But it's under construction, and a lot of times it's backed up, and just, yeah, we'll go this way because it's the exact amount of time to get to this point here, you know, if we go to the other way, so it doesn't really matter. All right. Okay, now we're starting to get into civilization. This is on the west part of the valley of the Sun, the Phoenix metropolitan area. And this is where it really starts getting, you know, new buildings and so on, but it's very small lots. You know, they're nice homes, but they're on postage stamp lots, and it's just how fast can they build. And this is where civilization is kind of really starting to come out, and you can tell when it's coming. I've been in the valley since the early 70s, and I tell you, it starts with a convenience store and a gas station, and boom, an exit and all kinds of stuff. Now, where we at the pilot that we went onto I-10, the freeway from the post office, right across north of the highway there is where Belmont is going. That is Bill Gates, you know, smart city, plug you in the back of the head matrix thing, you know, make sure you got your happy shot. And that's going to be interesting how that comes out. Now, Miller Watson Road here, this is where you start getting into your Lowe's and Home Depots and Harbor Freights and all that kind of stuff. And so when we have to go get supplies, this is how far we're having to come. Now we got another, I don't know, 15 miles or so to go to where we need to go, but you kind of get the idea. This is how far out we are from the Valley of the Sun. Peace.